Welcome to The Brain Factor, hosted by myself, Joy Riddle, and Laura Hawley. We're a part of Meridian Behavioral Healthcare, where we believe that wellness is within everyone's reach. This podcast is a conversation about what research-based protective factors look like in real life. Our hope is that you'll walk away with something that you can use in your own life and have had some fun with us along the way. So let's get started. Well, hey, today on The Brain Factor, we're going to be talking about movement and how movement is a protective factor and how that fits into your life. So, Laura, why don't you tell us about what protective factor that movement is associated with?
Sure. Well, it falls into some really big ones that cover both substance misuse and mental health strategies. So there's protective factors that have to do with nutrition, movement, exercise, fitness level, and just general condition of our physical bodies. And so there's so many different topics we could unpack there, right? Because it's like that encompasses a whole lot. That can also be a really intimidating one. So I love that today we're just going to focus on movement, right? Yeah. So who do we have with us today, Joy?
So we have Mandy Spurlin, and
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've known Mandy for quite some time. We met at Orange Theory, where I work out and where she was a coach. And Mandy's got a really interesting background. So Mandy was a law enforcement officer. She was a certified personal trainer. She specializes in, or she works with nutrition, a model. I've seen you model with
You're too kind.
with lipstick and weaponry and all kinds of different ads. That's really cool and interesting. So I thought it would be a lot of fun to have you with us today. And you're also you're an expert with exercise and how we can integrate that into our days, even on times when we can't make it to the gym.
It's so true. And so I love the topic of movement and thinking about how important it is because we move every day. We move from the time we get up to go to work, and it's not just a workout of what we are doing or what we're accomplishing. It's how do we move efficiently and effectively through our daily lives without getting injured. So I thought it was just a great topic, and it's so important on so many levels. So thank you for having me to talk about it. So when we think about movement, for me, some of the main movement patterns, our gait, how we walk, it's so important because we need to walk effectively. Shoulders up, good posture. Make sure we all just shifted. I know. It's we can do it. Shoulders back, and pushing. We're pushing things throughout our lives. It's not just pushing weights or pushing something around in the gym. It's maybe pushing a stroller, pushing your shopping cart. Same thing, the pulling motion. We're pulling things towards us, making sure that we're doing that properly. Squatting, hinging, we're always bending down to pick things up and making sure we don't get hurt. Rotation, we want to rotate properly so we don't get hurt when we try to rotate, because everyone's done it. You've reached for something too fast and you've pulled something. Mm-hmm. And so thinking about our body mechanics and just how to move in space effectively. So I think when we talk about movement, it's so important. We probably all can think of a story where we bent down and picked up that box, and
yep.
Joy's like, I've got it.
I got it.
And you're always like, I knew better. I knew not to do that. I thought it would be fine,
So it's like, we think about exercise, and that is my background as a personal trainer and a previous coach at Orange Theory. It's intimidating. It's intimidating to think about a workout, but when we just break it down to movement and what we do and how can we move better at work, I think that way too. I sometimes sit too long at a desk now, and I need to get up and move about. So when we were talking earlier, kind of thinking about this, one thing I thought I loved, and maybe you guys can give an idea too, is just parking a little farther away when you get to work. Mm-hmm. Not getting that first spot, or at the grocery store. I know I do it at the grocery store. Yeah. I park a little farther away, walk in.
Yeah, your car will be happy about it too, because nobody's going to ding it.
Right. Right. Maybe if it's not raining, the rain, we might want to park a little closer. I don't blame you there. But, just parking a little farther away to get that extra walk in. Joy, I know you said at work sometimes you maybe knock out some exercises. What do you like?
I do. I keep a yoga mat in my office, and I'll throw down some push-ups. Notorious for getting into some squats, because squat uses such large muscle groups, and it's so important for your back and your strength that I'll just stand up from my chair and start squatting and go back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so
Gets
true.
The blood going, wakes me up when I get that drain instead of going for a cup of coffee.
Yes.
I can grab 10 squats and keep moving.
Yes.
One of the things I started doing when the pandemic first hit and everything went on Zoom, where my office is situated here at Meridian, I have the option of 2 printers that are about equidistant, right? One is on the same floor I'm on, and one is right down the stairs. And so I started going to the printer down the stairs so that I was at least, I mean, you're sitting at home, then you're coming to work and you're sitting in front of Zoom. And I was at least taking a flight of stairs a day.
That's
and some
awesome.
days that's all that I got.
Yes.
But I started using that printer, and it's the little stuff, right?
Yeah, really, it is the little stuff. Sometimes there's a garbage pail in my office, sometimes there's not, but I never use it. I use that as my opportunity to go walk around the building over to the kitchen and use the main garbage pail, and just to get up and move around and take a break, because I find that I get so focused on my work, and my position's demanding, so I have a lot to do, and I won't even stop for it. I'll find out, wow, I haven't drank any water yet today. I haven't done, so I try to build in those natural stops as much as I can.
So
to get up and move around.
I'm famous, I use my watch just for that accountability. I'm an accountability girl. I've got to have that kind of check-in moment. And so I don't want to use it as something that's negative, because sometimes we do that too. I'm like, oh, I didn't hit my goal today. But just that little bit of, you know what? I haven't stood in a while. So when it says to stand, let's stand up. Let's walk about. Let's just take a moment for ourselves, our own mental health too, of walk away from the computer, walk away from the Zoom. Find some energy, because exercise and movement is tied to so many things, and it's not just a 6-pack of abs and arms. That'd be fantastic, but it's not realistic. It's being healthy, being present in our lives for our family, our friends, little ones. How are we staying injury-free for work? I'm sure Meridian just wants people to be injury-free.
Yeah, and we have a great wellness program at Meridian where I work. It's pretty fantastic, actually. You get all these points, and it turns into prizes and gift cards. And I think last year at the holidays, I cashed in my exercise points and I got like a $300 gift card to Amazon. So,
Mine wasn't as high. You did much better than me.
Yeah.
Well, with the pandemic, I think we all stopped moving the way we were before. Like you said, we're at home. You're in front of a computer way more than ever. For some people, it was a new transition. Fitness facilities were closed. You were limited to where you could even go for shopping and groceries. So everyone found we stopped.
Well, and I also think, when you're mentally exhausted, you're physically exhausted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And vice versa, right? So those two things are so connected. And I know for me and a lot of other people, it just sort of lost our desire to do anything after a while. In the beginning of the pandemic, you're responding to a crisis. You're not feeling the long-term impacts of what you're doing, or in this case, not doing anymore. And then, here we are well past the year mark. We're into the 18 months. Now, like you're saying, the everyday stuff, now it hurts when I bend over, right? Because my everyday patterns of movement aren't the same. So I really like what you're saying, because I'm one of those people that's afraid of exercise. I'm very intimidated by it. I set myself up for failure all the time, but thinking of it in terms of how I'm executing my day, I think can be life-changing.
I completely agree, because, and again, the same person that you're speaking about when the pandemic hit, as a fitness professional, and that's what I was doing full time at that point, my brain didn't have room for that. I was
your whole world
stay-at-home mom. My gym is closed. The world has changed, and something had to give. And fitness gave. As a fitness professional, I was the one that said, I have to process everything else. And I gained the COVID-15. I gained the weight, and I didn't eat the perfect way. And then like you said, things start hurting. Like, oh, I'm feeling my knees. I'm feeling when I bend over in those movement patterns. But I love what you said about if you're someone who's intimidated by going to work out, when you just break it down to how do I learn to move effectively, not lift 900 pounds, but move effectively so that I can be more active in my life and whatever it is, and feel confident in my squatting motion, my lunging motion, my hinging, so it's not to hurt your backs. I love that. And when you think of it like that, hopefully it can be less intimidating.
Sure. And I think too, it allows us to be more present in our lives. I've noticed as a middle-aged mom, right? I'm noticing that among my peer group, like, it's a pretty common thing. You know, you're going somewhere and like, oh, well, mom's tired and mom doesn't want to walk anymore and mom can't do that. Well, let's pull the car around for mom. Let's, I don't know why I'm seeing that so much. Maybe it's my own like insecurities, but I'm seeing that so much in myself and in my peer group where, you just reach a certain age as a woman and it sort of starts to fall apart, and it doesn't have to. And just to be able to execute those normal things, to be able to go to, a theme park with your family and walk around the whole day, just like dad and the kids are, right? Why is it mom that's sitting down and having the cup of coffee and waiting for everyone to get off the roller coasters, right? I want that to be different.
I love that. And then I think we're also our worst enemies too.
Yeah.
And we start to think we're doing everything for everyone else all the time.
And we have no time for us.
We have no time for ourselves, because if we didn't, then who's going to do the dinner? Who's going to do this? And who's going to pick this up? And we think we can't take that hour, even if it's just a nice walk at home to clear the cobwebs and enjoy some alone time. Not nice, but but so we need to give ourselves that grace of like, take a moment. And it is for us to be better and more present in other things.
Yeah, because I would give you the grace. You're just not giving it to yourself.
Sure.
If I don't do it, the days I go to the gym early in the morning, because that's how I figured out that it can work in my life, is just to open my eyes and throw something on and go. And I beat myself up when I don't, or when I can't, or when I think I can't.
All of a sudden you failed. Yeah.
When my workout buddy messages me and she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it today because of," I'm like, "Oh, that's great. You should take a rest day. That's awesome. That's great." But for me, you get a beating.
Right. We would never talk to our friends the way we talk to ourselves.
Right.
Inside. The internal monologue that we all have about something. We know what it is, and we're like, we beat ourselves up. And if we told our friend that, a friend walked in and said, I'm just having a rough day, we'd be like, "You're gorgeous. I love you. The makeup is on point." Like, we just would give that lift, but we don't give it to ourselves. No. Instead, we pick that one little thing, and we micro-focus on it. And we just keep on and keep on and keep on and think, whatever. Pour me the glass of wine.
I'm just going to sit here on the couch.
It's over.
Move. Yeah.
I'm not going to move.
Right.
I'm not doing
we
anything.
We never tell our friend that. So, I think moving, and then also moving our brain in a manner of start talking to yourself with the love you would share with someone else.
Yeah. Positive self-talk is powerful.
It is so powerful.
Affirmations, whatever. I know they go by lots of different names.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
And I do. Sometimes when I'm dying on that rower, I look up at that wall and I'm like, okay, and I'll start reading the affirmations that are up on the wall. Goals are, dreams with deadlines. That's it.
I read them too.
Yeah, exactly. If you want it, work for it. You got to work for it. Don't just wish for it. Work for it.
And it's so interesting because I think that's where it's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
So when we get in that place where we're, I know that part of when I set myself up for failure when it comes to exercise and hitting the gym and doing things is that I set a higher expectation for maybe what I'm capable of doing, right? So then I'm sitting there and I'm going, this is great and positive self-talk and you can do it and everybody else does it, and that quickly turns into you're not as good as everybody else. You're failing at this, and how come you can't do this? Nobody else hurts after 10 minutes, and then I quit, right? So so I feel like that's a big thing for me. I know is to just celebrate what you can do, and it'll grow from there. Right?
Absolutely, make smart goals. So smart. First, they're specific. What is a specific goal we're looking for? And is it measurable? How are we going to measure it? Is it, I'm going to do 2 minutes today. I'm going to work for 3 minutes next month. How are we going to measure how we're achieving this goal? And then, is it attainable? We don't want to set the goal of we're going to walk into our first gym class and crush it and be the fastest person on the treadmill. Yes. And especially if we're like new to a fitness routine or we're coming out of a pandemic where we haven't worked out in 18 months. So is it something that's attainable and it's achievable? And then the why. So the R is it relevant? Why are you doing it? And I think when we hold on to a why so many times, we changes. Our goal will change when you put the why to it. Because it's why? I just want to be healthy. I want to be able to walk on this treadmill for 20 minutes and feel good at the end of it. Okay? Let's get there. small little things. And then that T, trackable with the time. Okay, we know that we want to get this done, again, smart, in a time period that's going to work. We don't want to say we want to achieve our measurable goal in 3 months for something that's going to take us 12.
Right.
So I think, when you think about it, you go in and think, today, I'm going to be my best by lifting a weight that is a challenge to me and not what my neighbor's doing. And my neighbor, they're rocking those 25s. That is fantastic. And 10s are my jam today. And just be proud of that you showed up. And then that why. I'm a big believer of why do you do things? And I'm doing it to be healthy for my family. I'm doing it to be a better employer, to be a better employee. I have my reason, and then just put that inside, tune out the rest.
Yeah. Well, and that's the part that for me is linked the most strongly to mental health, right? It's been well documented about endorphins and, all that, how the physical impact that it can have on our mental health. But I think there's that other piece. We keep talking about being present in our lives and being able to execute the normal stuff in life and participating in our family and the daily activities. When we can't do those things as effectively, that opens the door for depression and for anxiety and for feeling less than and not good enough. And I think those are when we have goals that are centered around being fully present in our lives, I really think that that's where we're tapping into that protective factor of movement and of being physically healthy and the impact that has on the way that we see ourselves and that we see our role in our lives.
Oh, absolutely. I think I read a meme or a little saying is, no one leaves a workout, thinking, gosh, I wish I didn't do that today.
Yeah, correct.
You can say it all the way in. And when I say a workout, it could be a walk, it could be some yoga, whatever you're doing in the moment, a bike ride with your family, and you think, there's a million things I want to do, but when you're done, you're like, yes.
Glad I did that.
Your mental health is now also benefited from this hour of your life, 30 minutes of your life, whatever it is. No one ever thinks, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right. That's so true. That's so true. Even as much as I, hesitate and just can't seem to go all in with the exercise routines, I'm always grateful I did it after.
Yeah,
it's never been a bad
idea.
I
usually start out in the morning with this battle with myself. The alarm goes off and it's like, oh, I could skip today. I don't need to go. I don't want to do this. I hate this. Why do I do this to myself? This is the worst thing in the world. And also me leaving the gym in the morning. I can rule the world today. Yes. I can do anything. It just puts me in a great mindset for the day.
Does. It turns off that negative self-talk that we will have. You think, no, I got up, I did my workout, or I did whatever my goal was for this morning. Even go drink water. I drank my water today. I made sure to get in. I filled my cup up. I got my water in. Little things that make a difference over time, that make us feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think anytime we focus on something that's going to benefit us long term, you're going to feel better at the end of the day.
Yeah. I got my daughter one of those big Hydramate water bottles that has the markings on it with the times of day, and it has little affirmations too, like you're almost there, you're doing a great job, and it has the different times of the day to drink the whole thing. That's been kind of a fun thing.
Is that working well for
yeah,
her?
It's working
She's
really
following
well for her.
it.
She's following it.
Do you have one?
I don't, but I need to get myself one.
I know what to get you for a gift.
Yes, we always do better for other people, right? So I got to start
exactly.
doing for me.
Right. Yeah. It always kind of comes back to that. We want to make sure everyone else is taken care of.
Yes.
And and then it's how are we taking care of ourselves? And I'm the same way. I'll have a water, and then I'm like, did I fill this up? But with that, it's trackable. Exactly.
Yes.
It's measurable. It's specific.
It is.
It is the epitome of a goal because it's looking at you all day. And so, and again, you don't want to put pressure. So, I always think of people, I don't want anyone to ever be intimidated or think there's pressure to achieve something. So, even a move goal on a watch or something, just making sure that you're like, you know what? Moving is key. Drinking the water, being healthy is key. We all have that one thing in our diet that we probably know we should take out of our diet. And we, oh, that's it. You can think it as I'm saying it,
Yep, I know what it is.
Me too. And so it's like, okay, let's start with small goals, taking that out once a week, next week, twice a week. Moving through things at a realistic pace. Because if we just say we're never going to do it again,
Yeah,
that's not going to stick. And same thing with an exercise
Yeah.
program or a movement routine. You're going to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer the world. It's too much. And you're like, no. So, I love the idea of taking the stairs, parking farther, just those little things that we can do, exercising in the office. I don't think people think about that because they're like, we're going to do some push-ups.
Yeah.
But,
They just get down and do push-ups.
walk by Joy's office, we're like, what's happening
What is happening there, right? Yeah.
But it's so true,
Yeah.
mini bands, the mini bands that you can put around your arms or your legs for some different exercises, that it's just working on, again, those things we need to worry about, our posture, our core strength.
Sit up
especially-
straight again. She said
Every
the
time
word
you say that
again.
word, it's like Pavlov's dogs over here. You say that word and we go like this.
My coworker that sits in the office next to me, he's got medium-sized kettlebells in there, and you walk past them, and he'll be like working on something on his computer, and he's like doing this or pick up a weight, and so he's just lifting them up and down, getting his workout.
Great. And
It's helping him.
Accountability partner.
Yeah. That's the mindset shift, though, that I think that so many of us could benefit from.
Yes.
I talk myself out of physical activity all the time, right? So we have a gym here that you can sign up and, use. And I always go, oh, that'd be nice, but then I'll be all sweaty and then I can't go to my meeting, all sweaty. Or, so I always have a reason why I can't do the workout. But if the workout is occurring in little pieces all day, I think that when it comes time then to add the 3 days a week or the 4 days a week or whatever it is I want to ultimately do, like you said, realistically down the road, then I'd be more equipped for that. It wouldn't be so foreign because it's not going from zero to everything.
Right. And thinking about the workout that you want to get to as just an enhancement of your daily life.
Right.
It's what you're already doing. Those movements that we are doing every day throughout the day, we're just enhancing them. So again, it's great if it starts to be a weight-bearing exercise where you're adding weight, but just body weight alone, making sure that we are moving the right way is so important. And then as you set those goals, you'll see, I feel stronger in that motion. I feel more confident, and I think confidence is so important. Like, I feel more confident to be able to pick up this box, to be able to move this item.
Yeah, and that's what gives you resilience, which is kind of the big picture around the protective factors. Is you have that confidence, you just keep going.
I completely agree, and so I think that's a great way for everyone to think of it. Just how am I going to get stronger in my movement?
Yeah.
And accountability partners. So when you said there's a gym, I was like, you need to tell Joy that you guys are going to meet
That's
like
how I
once
go.
a week, and we're going to work on push-ups or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is,
There's
whatever
Joy's
it is.
Jam. But like
Yeah,
whatever
no.
it is, like just having somebody that says, because you might be the one person that reaches out and says, hey, would you like to walk after work? And they've been thinking, I want to do something, but I don't know how. Because no one wants to be the new person at anything. And so it's like, okay, let's walk after work. Let's go to the gym for a 30-minute little not too sweaty session.
Not too sweaty session.
So that we look nice still for work. But no, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the takeaway, right? So that's the challenge. The challenge is to look in our everyday lives for opportunities to move throughout the day, to start small, to start realistic, right? What did you say? It was
Smart
goals,
specific, yep, measurable, attainable, relevant, and then trackable with a time.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the same as everybody else's, but to look for ways while you're at work, while you're at home, to move your body in ways that are going to strengthen those things that we use in our everyday life, so that we can be more present and we can protect ourselves, not leave those doors open for anxiety and depression and all those things that can weigh us down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
I
for
really
having
appreciate
me.
it.
I really enjoyed being here. You guys are awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Brain Factor. Joy and I are so thrilled to be having these needed conversations. We'd love to hear your feedback on this episode, so if you could drop a comment or leave a review with your thoughts or any requests that you may have, it would be appreciated. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Living a healthier and happier life starts with one step, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. Until next time.